Hi everyone, I'm Samitha. I'm from Green Karma. We were just waiting for folks to join in, and to begin with, I'd just like to give you a quick brief about my organization, which is Green Karma. We started this campaign some 7 years back in Delhi when we saw that the waste condition in Delhi has gone over the top. You would have also noticed that around the residential areas that you live in, there are places which are overflowing and they're called dhalaus. And from these dhalaus, and the waste goes to the landfills. Now you would have also seen these landfills at a lot of places in Delhi. So for example, the first point is the moment you enter Delhi, you see these huge mountains. These are nothing but landfills which are topped up with waste every day and then compressed. Similarly, you have various other landfills like in Okhla and a lot of other places. Now, to begin with, I'll just like to give you a quick brief why landfills is not such a great idea. Because number one, these landfills are burning 24/7, which means they're creating very harmful and very poisonous toxins. That's one. Second of all, they are leaching into the groundwater. So the water that we in Delhi drink is getting poisonous by the day because this leachate goes ahead and mixes with the groundwater and poisons it. Third, it poisons our air. So what can we do? What can we do as citizens of Delhi? So normally most of the people say, well, this is not our problem. This is the problem of the government. They need to do something about it. Well, while we can say that the government has to do something about it, but the government alone cannot make a difference. We are a very inorganic country. Delhi has not grown or become Delhi today organically. It is a very historical city. Eventually, people started moving in. It kept on growing, and today Delhi is so huge. You have Delhi, you have Gurgaon, you have peripheries, you have Noida, Greater Gurgaon, you have Palam Vihar, and it is just growing disproportionately across. So how can the government alone do something? So what they did was that, okay, they started a campaign by the name of Swachh Bharat, in which they said that, guys, you know what, citizens, you need to start segregating your waste. Now honestly, tell me in the chat today, how many of you actually segregate your waste? I want a response from people watching this video, that how many of you segregate your waste every day? Okay, so even if you don't want to respond at this point in time, that's a question for you to think and ponder over. If you're not segregating, then of course you're responsible for these landfills and you cannot wash your hands off it. Now the second question is that, have you ever questioned that where does the waste go? What happens to the waste? Are you ever thankful to the waste pickers who come and collect your waste every day? Because if they were not there, if they were not brave enough that even in these corona times they're coming and collecting waste from our doorsteps, what would have happened to our house? Even if you've gone and thrown outside in the society somewhere, do you think that would have not created a problem for our houses? The stink, the smell, the insects, the mosquitoes, they would have all infected us any which ways. So it is very important that we, all of us, take the responsibility of not only segregating our waste, but all of you who can start composting must compost. Your kitchen waste is almost 60 to 70% of your total waste that you produce. And if this 60 to 70% can be home composted, just imagine the 30 to 40% waste which you are throwing out in form of plastic, in form of paper, in form of cardboard. About 80% of that is also recyclable. So just that if you are composting, if you are segregating, only 10% of the waste which is coming out of your house reaches the landfill, which is so much easier for any government to manage. Now, the second biggest problem is when I talk to people about composting, they said, oh, you know what, it's going to stink. It is going to create a smell. And you know what, there are going to be mosquitoes. We have kids at home, we have pets at home. It's just going to be a complete nuisance. So let me just simply throw my waste out. Well, that is not the case. If you are composting correctly and properly, there would be absolutely no stink, no smell, no flies, no mosquitoes. So very quickly, I'm just going to start a quick demonstration on how you can easily compost in your house without spending more than a minute of your time per day. Now here what you look in front of you, this is a 3-tier composter. This composter I have purchased from Daily Dump, and I have been using their composter for the last 8 years. And not only them, there are a lot of other organizations across India who started making composters, and they're very easily available on Amazon, and they have websites with all the information loaded. So here I'm going to demonstrate using my favorite product by Daily Dump. It's a 3-tier composter. It's made by terracotta and it is handmade, which means that it is made out of terracotta, which means it's an eco-friendly product. The other reason why I like this product is terracotta is breathable, whereas plastic is not. So whosoever is watching the video, if you can catch hold of a terracotta based composter, that's the best thing that you can do, because your compost is going to be much better and less hassle. You know, it will be less hassle for you as well. Now I'm going to just quickly demonstrate how you can set up your composter. Now this 3-tier composter has been very well thought of. The top 2 containers are for active composting, and the bottommost container is for storage. So what you have to do is that first, when you're setting up your composter, the last container is going to be empty. Now what happens is that your kitchen waste is essentially 60 to 70% water. So many times when the water is excess and you're eating fruits and vegetables, something like watermelon, the water quantity is as high as 80%. So sometimes the water does trickle down to the bottom. So what we are going to do in this 3-tier composter is that we are going to first fill it up with some dry leaves. I'm just going to get some dry leaves. So here are the dry leaves that I have collected. So I'm going to put these dry leaves in the bottommost container because this is empty for now. And this is just to make sure that if there is any water that trickles to the bottom of this, these dry leaves will soak up that excess moisture. Now I'm going to put this container back and I will use it later. And this is my topmost container. Now this container has a mesh. If you look at it, you can actually see through this container. This has mesh because you want the composter to breathe. You want it to be rated. If you look at it, there are holes everywhere. So that is what is going to make the composter stink free, because it is aerobic in nature, which means that the compost is not going to stink at all. So I am going to put this container on top of this. Now, so that my contents of A container does not mix with the B container, I am going to put a newspaper. And now my composter is ready to use. So I'm just going to repeat the steps very quickly. The bottommost container at the moment is empty, so we'll fill it up with dry leaves. This is a B container, we'll come to this later, but we are going to first start actively filling this one. Now, I call it the brown bread sandwich technique for composting. Why? Because for composting you need 4 things. You need kitchen waste, which is rich in nitrogen. You need carbon, you need moisture. Now the moisture will come through your kitchen waste. Like I mentioned, your kitchen waste is about 70% water, and you need air circulation. That is why I picked up a composter which has a lot of holes and it is well aerated and it is made of terracotta. So terracotta itself as a product does breathe a lot. So what I'm going to do is, for my carbon, I'm going to use this coco peat. Now what is coco peat? Now coco peat is the coconut husk. You've seen the coconut shells. It has a lot of husk on the outer cover. Now this coconut husk, when shredded, becomes coco peat powder, and you would be now wanting to know where will we get this coco peat powder from. Now the good news is that you get this coco peat very easily from almost all the nurseries across Delhi NCR. So it's not that you have to go scout for it. The other major source of carbon is of course dry leaves, but you know, the problem with the dry leaves is that you have to go scout for them and they're not available throughout the year. And this coco peat brick is very, very economical. You just get it for somewhere around 200 rupees a brick, which can last you somewhere around 3 months easily. So what I'm going to do is that this coco peat brick, I'm going to sprinkle. I'm going to put about 2 to 3 fistfuls of this coco peat powder. The reason I'm putting this is so that when I put my waste on top of it, it can soak up the excess moisture. So I have my day's kitchen waste, which comprises of a few fruit peels, some potato peels, some onion peels, some carrot peels, and some coriander, all of that. And at this moment it will not stink and smell because it's just fresh, it is just peels. The moment you leave that and you mix it with your dry waste, that is the time when your organic waste becomes toxic, as well as it starts stinking and smelling because it doesn't get a lot of air to breathe. So what we are going to do is, and it also has a lot of tea leaves for the day. So what I've done is I have put my kitchen waste for the day inside this, and I'm again going to top it with coco peat powder, and that's about it. And my composting for my activity for the day is done. I'm going to repeat the same step tomorrow. Tomorrow again I'm going to put my kitchen waste. Again I'm going to layer it with coco peat. Now if you look at this, I'm going to get the camera a little closer. If you look at it, you see that you cannot see the waste which we have put inside this. And this is typically how you should layer your kitchen waste. So once this container is filled up, it will take about 30 days to compost, but the composting process has already started. But the topmost layers will also take its own sweet time to compost. So what I'm going to do is that after, let's say, a month, when this fills up, I'm going to bring this down. So this is my filled container. After a month, it got filled up. I'm going to put this in the center and put this one on top of it. That's it. And I'm going to start filling it exactly the same way. Now once this gets filled up, my A container should be ready. So what I'm going to do is that when my A container is ready, I'm going to look at it and it would have turned into a soil-like texture like this. So do you see? You can see some shells. It has some apricot shells. It has some eggshells. It also has some mango seeds. So these are some of the things which do not decompose that easily. But most of the matter, all my peels, all my potatoes, my onion, tomato peels, all my chai ki patti, you name it, watermelon, kharbuja, all your seasonal fruits, vegetable chilies, your stalks of your coriander plants, all of them have turned into this dark rich matter, and this is what is called compost. Now you might want to think at this point in time that I don't want to put mango seeds in my plants, or I don't want to put these shells. So what you can also do at this point in time is you can sieve it. I also have a sieved compost in front of you, and this is how the sieved compost looks. It doesn't stink and smell. In fact, when you smell it, it just smells that of fresh earth. You know, the moment, the aroma that the soil gives out when it first rains, that's the kind of smell that it creates, which means that it is an absolutely stink-free process. All you just have to do is you have to keep the ratio of carbon and kitchen waste in proportion. So for example, you have to layer your kitchen waste every day with coco peat. I would suggest coco peat. I would highly recommend coco peat, but if you can't, then you can also crush some dry leaves and then add to it. And this is a very good manure. Now the soil that comes out of it can be used in multiple ways. One, it can be used as manure for the plants. Second, it can also be used as a potting soil, which means that if I were to start a pot from scratch, I can just fill my compost coming out of my composter and just plant something and it will not spoil. And the best thing is that this soil doesn't clamp like soil does. You know, you have to do a lot of gudai, you have to ask the mali to do the gudai, and then you have to water your plants a lot. This will take less water. You will not need to do any gudai at all. So this is the advantage. And another biggest advantage, which I was about to forget, is your plants will become extremely light. Soil really makes your pots very heavy. So when you're living in flats and you're living in small apartments, moving the pots becomes a very tedious task. But with this kind of soil, your pots can easily move. You can easily put this in your indoor plants as well, and they thrive really well. So that's all that it takes to compost. I'm just going to tell you some basic things that you can add and you cannot add. You can literally add anything edible. You can even add your leftover food. You can even add bones. You can even add eggshells, watermelon, mango seeds. Like you've seen, my compost has a lot of mango seeds. You can add all of that. What you can't really add in the edible waste is coconut shells. Now coconut shells do not decompose that easily. They have to be shredded, and that requires a lot of heavy machinery, which we cannot do it in home. So that is the only edible thing that will go out. More or less everything else can go into it. You can put your leftover food, your chapati, your rice, your dal, whatever which has spoiled can go into it. So and you know, like today Google has so much of information, so when in doubt you can easily go to Google, search for the items which can be added, which cannot be added. Yeah, one more thing that reminds me is tea bags. So a lot of people ask me, can we add tea bags to it? You cannot add the tea bags, but you can add tea, which means you'll have to cut your tea bag and remove the tea and then throw the bag away. So the best thing is try to use loose tea to make tea, because like I said, the only idea is not just to compost but also to reduce our waste, and we need to think of ways that items that we can reduce from our day-to-day life, which will not create so much of waste, by not using plastic bags, by not using plastic water bottles. I will not talk about that because I know all of you are aware. It's just that you have to take that leap and make a conscious effort to reduce your waste. The 4 R's are reduce, reuse, recycle and repurpose. So you have to constantly do that, right? So this is where we are. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take. Have any questions, viewers? If there are no questions at this point in time, do you think we can close the video? Okay, so you can also, if you have any questions, you can post on this wonderful page who's organized this session today. And since I'm a part of this, if there are any questions that I can take later on, I'll be more than happy to take them as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and thanks so much for joining on this interesting session on composting. I really hope that many of you will give it at least a try in starting home composting. How much time usually, okay, somebody's asked how much time usually it takes to decompose. Like I said, it takes about 30 days for it to decompose. So let's say if you have any container, you need to fill it for 30 days and then you have to leave it for another 30 days to decompose completely. So ideally when you start composting, make sure you have 2 containers. Like I have 2 containers. So when my one container gets filled up, I fill up the second one. And when my second one gets filled up, my first one is ready to be used. Any other questions? So that's about it then. So like I said, if you have any other questions, you can reach out to the page directly and they can direct these questions to me and I'd be more than happy to answer. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye. Take care.